Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Cyberman Show. Today we'll review the first ever single vendor SASE magic content released by Gartner's few weeks back. I got hold of this report recently and I thought it's will be beneficial for everyone on this podcast to learn from this report. So today I'll talk about what a single vendor SASE is, what is Gartner MQ, how Gartner evaluated the various products or participants in this report, what were the criteria in that report, keynotes from that report, as well as my personal takeaways. With that, let's get started. So, first of all, what is Gartner MQ? Okay. So, Gartner MQ is a 2 by 2 matrix for evaluating certain service providers or products or OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, in IT. So Gartner creates criteria for a particular domain. It can be cybersecurity, and it can be IT, it can be application, it could be anything in IT. Okay, so Gartner covers most of these spaces, and in this evaluation, what they do is they put up a criteria, and based on the assessments that they're doing, they arrange vendors. They come up with a score, and these based on these scores, the vendors are arranged into 4 quadrants in the matrix. These 4 quadrants are leaders, challengers, visionaries, and niche players. So leaders are the set of providers that have the ability to address current and future end user requirement in the single vendor market, specifically in this context, but essentially in that space where Gartner has done the evaluation. Okay, and leaders' strategies aligned with emerging user needs and has the potential to drive, shape, and transform the market going forward. So they can influence the decision and innovation of various customers. Okay, the challenger, on the other hand, has the ability to address the current end user requirements in the market, but they might not shape and transform the enterprise market going forward. The visionaries have the ability to transform the market by driving new ideas, innovations, including new business model to solve the challenges, but they lack a visibility, a sizable install base, global coverage, or in fact comprehensive product capabilities to address the enterprise requirements. So they might be good at something, but they might not have the full coverage or might not match capabilities that Gartner requires them to match. Niche players are often focused on specific portions of the market, such as a specific use case, geography, vertical, or a technical specialty. Now, they are typically near complete, but have some limitations, and these limitations often include feature depth, geographical reach, market visibility, and installed base. Okay, so that's how Gartner does the evaluation, and this MQ is often used by customers to do evaluation for choosing specific service providers. So I've been in my career, I've been into multiple situations where one of the products that we were trying to sell, we could not sell it to the customer because customer mandated that Gartner's MQ has to be used for evaluation. Only those companies that are part of MQ can go there, and a lot of customers who are Gartner clients do that, and it's their strategy. I'm not complaining, I'm just trying to show how the market works. Now let's go back to the single vendor SASE report. So for those who are not familiar with SASE, I've done a video previously on SASE. Take a look at my YouTube channel or the podcast to go through that content. But SASE, or essentially a secure access service edge, delivers converged network and security as a service capabilities. These include SD-WAN, secure web gateway, cloud access service broker, next generation firewall, and ZTNA, zero trust network access, or VPN. And SASE supports branch offices, remote worker, and on-premise secure access use cases. Okay, it is primarily delivered as a cloud service and enables zero trust access based on the identity of the device or entity, combined with real-time context security and compliance policies. So it can take decisions for a device, for an end user based on the state of that entity. Now, this is not the first report about single vendor SASE. Last year, I remember around the same time, Gartner came up with the market guide for single vendor SASE, and they came up with the architecture. And if you are on my YouTube channel, I'm showing that architecture. Essentially, they listed the SSE, Secure Services Edge, and WAN Edge services capabilities in a diagram, and they talked about how entities can connect from anywhere to resources that are located everywhere with a zero trust access approach, with full context of user device identity and the activity that's being done. So this SSE contained SWG, CASB, ZTNA, firewall as a service, remote browser isolation, encryption, decryption, etc. And on the WAN edge side, it contained SD-WAN, WAN optimization, quality of service, routing, SaaS acceleration, content delivery, caching, etc. Okay, so they started work on this, to my understanding, almost 2 years back. Okay, now specific to this report, single vendor SASE is essentially an evaluation of all the vendors that can deliver both SSE and the WAN edge services as a unified product with a single management console, unified security plane, and offered as a cloud service. What that means is, if there's a company that has a WAN product, SD-WAN product, and SSE, but it's not integrated, it's not doesn't have a unified or a single pane of glass, single console to manage everything, they will not meet this the criteria for this report. That's very simple. Also, if someone is offering a managed service capability by using multiple products together, integrating them using APIs or whatever methods are available, those will also not qualify. Okay, so it's very important to understand the difference between various market options that exist in SASE today and what Gartner was evaluating. Okay, so in terms of the Magic Quadrant results itself, in leaders, Palo Alto was the only player. Challengers contains Versa Networks, K2 Networks, Fortinet. Niche player contains VMware, Juniper Networks, and Visionaries has Cisco and ForcePoint. Now, I'm not going to comment on why a particular vendor is there in a particular quadrant or not. I request you to just Google this up. There are vendors who are providing this report. You can download it that's the way I downloaded. But for us, it's very important to understand what were the criteria that were used for this evaluation. So the criteria are divided in 3 categories: the general criteria specific to product features, as well as customer relevance and adoption. Okay, so specific to general criteria, Gartner mandated that the single vendor SASE offering has to be GA'd by 12 April 2023. I believe this was the last date of the response submission from vendors who wanted to participate. The second criteria was that the participant should be in the enterprise SASE market and actively selling and publicly marketing SASE to enterprises. Also, it should provide commercial support and maintenance for its enterprise SASE offering, essentially 24/7, to support deployments on multiple continents. So you can't be in just one region and become part of this report. So very clearly specified. In terms of the product features, multiple capabilities are there. So of course, the base SASE capabilities like SWG, firewall as a service, CASB, ZTNA has to be there. And then they specified things like enforcement of SaaS access controls in an inline mode. And it requires you to the vendor to support inline malware scanning and data security to cover at least 3 SaaS enterprise suites: Microsoft Office 365, Salesforce, and Google Workspace. Also, the ability to identify identities on context-based, secure, remote, policy-based access to private applications, essentially ZTNA. And all the above functionalities should be provided as a cloud service to its customer. Of course, the firewall capabilities, next generation firewall, bidirectional in nature. On the network side, it mentions a branch appliance should be there that should support dynamic traffic steering out multiple physically located, locally attached WAN interfaces, management of traffic steering based on well-known application. So it should be application aware and be deployed at customers' physical branch location to support direct WAN connectivity. So lot of SD-WAN only vendors don't qualify for this because they don't have the the SASE capabilities. Okay, and then the centralized policy management for the offering, including both UI and API, that to provide reporting and troubleshooting, and also granular configuration and policy changes. The capability for the end customer to manage the entire product themselves, including granular configuration support and policy changes. Single pass scanning for malware and sensitive data. Support single sign-on using third-party identity providers, and have at least 3 POPs, point of presence, on 2 continents each. The POP must be highly secure facility, offer a full suite of SASE services locally, including firewall, web proxy, private access, and inline SaaS control in a highly available fashion, and it should be generally available to all its enterprise customers. So the mandated presence of POP in each of the regions. So if you evaluate a standalone SASE vendor, all these capabilities are standard, but when you combine this with SaaS, the SD-WAN capabilities and having a unified console, it becomes a bit hard, and that's why you see the number of vendors are limited in this evaluation. Now, looking at to the customer adoption side, it requires at least 100 unique enterprise customers that have purchased and deployed the vendor's primary SASE offering in a production environment and should have an active commercial support license. Also, at least 25 unique SASE customers headquartered in 2 continents under active support contracts. Also, support at least 2 prominent enterprise use cases for single vendor SASE as defined by the Gartner team. Now, the keynotes apart from these criterias are that the total marketable opportunity for this single vendor SASE domain is going to be around $21 billion in 2026 with a 5-year CAGR of 36%. As per Gartner. This is amazing, right? So look at the growth. What that means is Gartner believes that this single vendor SASE is definitely going to happen, and what they are also saying is there will be 50% increase in number of vendors with generally available single vendor SASE offerings compared to mid 2023. Also by 2026, 60% of new SD-WAN purchases will be part of single vendor SASE offering, up from 15% in 2023. So vendors who are just focusing on SASE solutions, on a standalone SD-WAN solution, they will either be acquired or become part of an overall offering. That's my understanding of the impact that this report can have. And essentially, Gartner is estimating that there are 7,500 enterprise single vendor SASE customers today. They are saying the market is well architected for single vendor SASE offerings. On one side they are saying that the market is there, but the offerings are immature, but they will develop quickly, and because the clients are themselves interested into this. Okay, this is all because of the consolidation wave that's happening. Also, Gartner noted that they are seeing increased interest in single vendor SASE requirements from organizations that want to simplify their branch technology stacks, and it is particularly compelling for organizations making SD-WAN investments and extending their project to include firewalling, remote access, and other security capabilities. So what I expect now is, and I've been looking into some of the requirements that come from customers, is they're looking at their existing SD-WAN stack, and in COVID, what happened, a lot of customers took decisions. They took SD-WAN from one vendor, they took SASE from another vendor, and some of them will eventually want to consolidate to have better ROI of the product, easier console, and this single vendor SASE approach helps a lot there. Okay. So my personal key takeaways: one is platform consolidation is happening, right? Gartner came up with an interesting data point last year, which says 75% of organizations are currently pursuing a security vendor consolidation compared to only 29% in 2020, and that's a massive jump. Okay. Now, this consolidation has already been happening. I mean, the most basic thing is, look at our mobiles. We have just 2 players hardly left, Android and iOS, right, on the operating system. Same goes with desktop operating systems, server operating systems. Okay. hardware players, server makers, okay, cloud service providers, data center vendors. Okay, so although there is of course new vendors always coming in, but the major players are very limited now. Consolidation is already happening now. SASE in fact consolidated the entire network security market. I remember when I deployed my first firewall, early 2000s. Firewall came as a hardware appliance, and then I remember looking at web proxy. I think that was the first technology that moved to cloud as a service, and then CASB and whatnot, IPS, okay, IDS. Some of you would remember that. Okay, all these technologies that were coming available as hardware appliances, and you would stack them and perform various use cases. Everything is now available in a single platform as a service on cloud. It's easy for enterprises or customers to deploy these and configure and manage these. Okay, so consolidation is already happening. It's inevitable. And what I also say, it's already happening in the other spaces in cybersecurity. Look at cloud and application for cloud native apps. Vendors are working to consolidate both the spaces. AppSec vendors are looking at the capability to get into the cloud native space, cloud, multi-cloud security, hybrid cloud security, and cloud security vendors are getting into the AppSec space. Also on the SOC side, XDR is trying to do most of the use cases. Okay, even if they can't do 100% use cases today, I'm sure 70-80% use case coverage is good enough. Data security, I spoke about DSPM in the last episode. DSPM is going to do the same consolidation. 70-80% use case coverage in a single platform is decent for any organization. And who knows, IAM is next, right? So this is inevitable. Okay, consolidation is coming. It's already here. I should not say it's coming. It's already here for most use cases. It's going to get mature only. Now, as an action item, I think I have to learn more on the networking side because of my cybersecurity background. I never focus on network security, but I think that's a skill that I should develop. Anyone who's interested should also develop it. And also I should watch and learn about other spaces where technologies are getting consolidated. Okay, I've been following SOC space, cloud security, AppSec. I'm the high, and also data security, the 4-5 major key areas in cybersecurity I'm already tracking, and I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, but we have to learn about all this together. And if some of you are already doing some work on this, let us know. We can do the joint session on the podcast for everyone to benefit from. Now, with that, thank you so much. Special thanks to listeners who keep downloading the podcast. They're taking notes. Some people email me, and also to Gartner who came up with this wonderful report. With that, I'll see you next time.